I would like to share a message with you. These butterflies just flying all over my face. Right, so I want to share a message with you, and it is the message that freedom and love go together. And this is a message that has taken me a long time. I'm still learning how to integrate and embody this message. But it is a lesson that came up in the last few years, but specifically the past year. And it's something which I feel really needs to be expressed, because I don't think I went through this lesson just for myself. I think this is one I'm really meant to share. Because how do freedom and love go together? Why are they so synergistic? Why are they so important to intertwine? And how do we learn to allow those we love to be free? Even if that means free from us. Even if that's extremely difficult to allow. Now, I have friends in my life, and these friends I've never had issues with allowing to be free. So in one way, I've always been attuned to this message, but when it got more personal and beyond a friend level, that was very difficult for me. But with friends, even, I understand that my friends are each on their own path, their own journey, and that I, as someone who loves them, do not want to hold them back or dictate their life or, try to convince them to stay around if their journey is taking them elsewhere. Because in love, I allow them to be free. I don't possess them. They're not attached to me. They have their own journey to travel. And the thing is, if those journeys are meant to intersect, they will. It's that simple, It's not something that you need to force. And furthermore, your friends will appreciate you more if you allow them that freedom and don't give them a hard time for traveling their path. But say it's not a friend. Say it's something more. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's someone you feel very deeply for beyond a friendship. It's very easy to want to control the situation if that person, family member or deeply loved one, isn't in your life or doesn't want to be or wants to be somewhere else. It can be very difficult to release control or the desire to control, and a fear of that not having them in your life, or a fear of where they are going on their path, can cause us to constrict and to create a lot of tension. And ultimately, that tension is creating limiting structures, which are not allowing your love to flow freely for that person, and which is making them feel trapped and unloved. And if we really want people to be happy or to feel free, maybe they're not happy, but they feel free, then you just have to let them be. And you have to let them travel their path. And in giving them your deepest love, you also give them their deepest freedom. And that's a really tricky thing to wrap our minds around. But also, you can flip that around. You can always flip it around on yourself to give yourself that hypothetical perspective of, well, what if it were me? Now, I'm someone who lives a very free life. I don't really live in a world where someone tries to control me, and I feel a deep surge of love constantly radiating and flowing from me. And so, hypothetically, right? What do you feel when you're allowed to be free? You feel the deepest flow of love also. Maybe. So freedom and love are so synergistic because when we allow someone to be free, we are loving them to our deepest depths. In turn, that allows them to express their love to their deepest depths. And perhaps they also then embody the message of freedom and love going together, because they understand that just as they want to be free to express their love in the way that they want to, or are meant to, or whatever it is, that goes both ways. And if they want freedom to share their love, then they have to also give others that freedom to share their love in the ways that everyone is desiring to do that. So it's a tricky thing, because fears get involved. Lots of fears cause us to create blockages, to want to control the situation. I'm also here to share that I know this is not an easy process, because although no one, at least in the most recent parts of my life, no one has really tried to control me, I have been in that seat where I was scared and trying to control a situation because I love this person, right? And yet, true love requires that I really let that person be free, even if it means free to hurt themselves, free to be hurt, free to go and learn lessons, tough lessons that they need to learn. That's part of freedom too. And it's difficult because you don't want to see people get hurt. And yet, if you love them, you have to let them be free. Part of this freedom is understanding that life is not all rainbows and butterflies, okay? It's just not. It's actually a lot of difficult alchemy. The alchemization process is difficult, and that means we have to be free to go on our painful paths of learning these difficult lessons. And if you try to step in and save someone or help someone who is on their path wanting to be free to travel their path, even though you can see it very clearly that they're getting hurt, even if they themselves know they're getting hurt, love would say that person needs to be free to travel their path. And you gotta trust that they will find their way through their path in the exact way they are meant to. Part of freedom is also trusting that person. And that doesn't necessarily mean they won't get hurt. True love really is about giving freedom. Now, you can always be there for those people to support them if they want it. And your paths might cross when they're meant to. But ultimately, freedom and love have to go together. We have to let people travel their path, just like we want others to let us travel our path. And just trust in that process of alchemy, because it'll take us all right where we're meant to go. And also, by allowing others to be free, you allow yourself to be free, to travel your path, and to learn your lessons the way you're meant to learn. And I know that part of my path was actually learning this lesson and still learning it, but I've come a long way and far enough to share the message. So I hope that this finds you well. Blessings.